Okay, so I have a Matthews Creed XS, and I believe that it was made in 2013. So I have been searching the internet, and I have done a restringing of and cables of said bow. And I've been learning a lot about tuning on the solocam. So I wanted to go over some things with this particular solocam. I don't know if a lot of this may go with, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, there's different things. Anyway, so Matthews Creed XS. This bow in particular, so my whole thing is I've been learning how to tune this bow. Okay, I got a bow press. I've been making my own arrows, stuff like that. Looking online, there is some pretty shitty information, to be honest. I found, and this could be from when I originally tuned my bow, when I replaced the string myself. There's a lot of information talking about idler lean, not cam lean. I understand what a cam is. Most bows have 2 cams and don't have any idlers. So do not come into the comments and tell me what my cam lean should be. Understand the difference between a cam and an idler, okay? A solo cam has a cam on the bottom of the bow and an idler on the top of the bow. Anyway, now I got that aside. Idler lean is, say you take the cables, right? The cables attach up at the top of the bow, they pull down on the arms at the top, and see how my fingers are sort of level right now? If you have one string pulling this way, that's going to make the idler cockeyed this way, right? So that's what's called idler lean. Yes, it can be with the cam too. I'm not talking about a cam. I'm talking about an idler on a solo cam bow. So I found out also, this is also some misinformation that I was seeing online. Again, I talked to a Matthews technician. But anyway, I looked at, so how you determine idler lean is you draw the bow to full draw. So even if the bow is at rest and you see that the idler and the string are perfectly up and down, at rest, that is not an accurate representation of idler lean. You must draw the bow all the way to full draw, and you will see that it will either stay straight or it will lean one way or the other at full draw. So what I noticed yesterday, after all of my tuning and all of my practicing and all of my shooting, is that I had a horrible idler lean. This is bad for the bow. You do not want idler lean. A lot of people say that it is normal to have some idler lean. When I talked to the technician, what he told me is that you should have no idler lean at all. It is not good for the bearings or any other part of the bow, really. But you should have no idler lean whatsoever. You should not adjust your idler lean on a solo cam bow to get out your knocking. Like, say if you have a knock left, you should not adjust your idler lean to get any type of false knock out. They do make shims for the idler, and and he said that is okay to do. The whole point is that when you draw your bow back, you do not want it to be cocked either way. There's bearings inside of that idler, and if your idler is cocking one way or the other, it's going to put excessive wear on your idler bearings. Anyway, so a couple of things, and I wish I was at home. I just wanted to make this video real quick. I might make another one just showing the whole bow and doing it again and talking about it again. But your axle to axle is 28 inches on the Matthews Creed XS. And what I have found is whenever you were adjusting for that, let's just say the axle to axle, when you're measuring it, is at, this is way excessive, this probably wouldn't happen, but 28 and a half inches. Or no, let's do 28 and a quarter inch. Yeah, 28 and a quarter inch. So what I was seeing online, and this seemed to work perfectly for my bow, you would need to give, what was it, every 1/8 inch you do 2 twists. So you do 2 twists on the cable and at the bottom, like on the cam, you detach it from the cam and you put 2 twists in it. That will adjust every 1/8 inch. So, and then for every twist that, basically for every twist that you do in the cables, you need to do 2 twists in the string, because the string is roughly twice as long as the cables. So basically, you need to bring your what I noticed is that when I brought my axle to axle to 28 inches, basically that put everything into tune. And you can tell on a Matthews Creed XS solo cam that it is in tune by the bottom cam has a hole in it, and when your string is directly through the center of that hole, your bow is in tune. In tune in the way that your cam is rotating correctly upon release. That does not take into consideration your idler lean. But anyway, this is why I don't know, a lot of people were saying, I don't know, when I was looking this up, I was seeing a lot of people talk about how to take out a knock left or knock right. The thing is that you set up, from what I understand and from me talking to this bow tech from Matthews, the Matthews bow is supposed to be set up one way, essentially. You can shim stuff, but if you don't have a bow press, you're not going to be doing any of this anyway. I believe, because I remember putting my bow into time, and then again I had an idler lean the whole time. I didn't realize it, but I had put it into time and I was shooting it for like basically a year with an idler lean. And what I think also happened is I think the string stretched, so it became out of tune, so I had to retune the whole thing. But I'm learning how to build my own arrows on top of this, so I'm kind of learning that there's one way that the bow is going to shoot, and you do not change that bow. But that's why I believe that we have adjustable rests, so that we can change certain things, right? But yeah, anyway, I think there's some I'm going to end up getting a bow next year. It's not going to be, well, it might be a Matthews, but it actually most likely will be a Matthews. But I'm either going to get a Hoyt or a Matthews next year, and I'll get a newer model. I'm going to get some really nice strings for it. I'll get and cables, and I'll get a great rest, and I'll probably use the EZV bow sights. But the thing is like, when it comes to bows, what I'm learning really quick, and this comes with a lot of other things, is don't trust what people say online. Seriously, I cannot tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many times I tried to look up idler lean, and everything kept coming back as cam lean. And I understand that solocams are kind of like old technology, but I don't care. When I'm trying to look up information, I am typing in specific information, and I want that specific information. It sucks that there's a lot of misinformation online too about this stuff. People saying that, oh, you should adjust your idler lean or whatever. Like, no. If you put it a certain way and you leave it, everything else can be adjusted by the knock height and like your knocking point and your rest. Those are the only things with a Matthews solo cam, an old one like the Creed XS, you should not be doing idling. Tune the bow to its specs and where it needs to be, and leave it. If you need to paper tune, that paper tuning all comes down to the knocking point and the rest, and maybe even your arrows. If you're shooting the wrong type of arrows out of your bow, it's not going to work. But anyway, yeah, I will probably get home today because I'm getting my bow back in order before I go out hunting this weekend. I need to practice shooting with it a little bit since I just got it back into timing and adjusted and everything. But I will make another video on how to do all that, and I will give a detailed description because I can't find this information online. I don't know why. This information, and it's not even being gatekeeped. Like, I called Matthews and he told me. It was that simple. So I don't know why people are getting wrong information online and trying to spread wrong information. That's just like when I did have a lot of issues with a 340 spine arrow shooting out of that bow, which is a dumb idea anyway. Don't use a 340 spine out of any bow that shoots, close to 70 pounds. I don't know, that is way too weak of a spine. But I was having a lot of issues, and I was adjusting my rest and stuff, which I was shooting the wrong arrow out of it. Too weak of a spine. But somebody had told me, so let's say you shoot off the bow, and from my perspective, I'm getting a knock left, correct? So knock left. So realistically, you want to bring the point towards the knock, right? So you move the rest this way, and that straightens out the arrow. And I was being told the exact opposite. I was getting a knock left, and people were saying to move your rest to the right, or if I'm getting a knock down, let's just say knock up. If the arrow is diving down, they were saying to lower the rest, like stuff like this. I don't know. And I'm learning all of this through my own experience and me trying things out. I don't know. Practice. Get a bow press, a good bow press, not the shitty cable presses, and do it yourself. Learn. Take a whole fucking year to learn about it. It sucks. I know there's not a whole lot of time, and it's going to be weird at first. Take pictures, just like you would with working on a car. Take pictures before you take it apart, and start to learn. and start to make adjustments, one adjustment at a time, and see what happens. Work on your own bow. Learn how to make the D-loop. Learn how to tie the knocking points. Bear shaft tune, knock tune, like do all of that stuff. It's going to make a difference in your success rate or your confidence in going out and hunting, okay? Because that was my big issue, is my arrows were not flying straight, they were not being repeatable. At 20 yards, I was getting weird shit going on. That's what made me start working on my own arrows and figuring out what I wanted to do. My arrows are just about 700 grains now. They have about 17% FOC. I have 200 grain single bevel broadheads, and like 100 grain inserts, something like that. And I think my arrow carbon to carbon is 28 inches. I've got a beefy fucking setup. But I'm learning, and my arrows are shooting like fucking darts. So anyway, don't have people tell you what is right or wrong. Unless it's a true expert. I went to, even just the idler lean, I'm sorry, but I went to an archery shop somewhere that tunes bows, and I offered, like, I wanted to give them money to check my timing, my full bow tune, right? And even in the shop, like, and I'm not like trying to put shops down. This wasn't like, I don't think this was a hunting archery place. This is like an indoor archery place, and they have outdoor archery 3D. But I don't know. It was just like, they couldn't even diagnose that, which I can't give myself too much credit for. I'm glad that I called Matthews and he was able to tell me, but now I know. But why didn't they know? Why didn't somebody that I'm supposed to trust know about, like, drawing the bow back and giving a simple look at the idler? Like, I don't know. That's one part of tuning, correct? And I'm just now learning this. But it's like, just do yourself a favor and learn your bow. Be prepared to make mistakes. It's okay. But learn your bow. And if something happens in the field, you might be able to diagnose it on the spot and fix it. Just saying.